Russ, Vicky, thank you very much for agreeing to quick chat on video for us. First off, can you just tell me a little bit about your firm, what it is you guys do?
Well, we are generally an audit-based firm, so that's what we largely focus on. Our journey over the last 18 months has been an interesting one because we've gone from general practice to solely just looking at audits.
Since that time, we focused working with other firms of accountants who predominantly aren't audit registered themselves, so they need to have that audit functionality, or they've got resource issues themselves, and we've stepped in and helped firms of accountants as well.
You must be very popular at the moment. I know that audit is extremely difficult, the workflow to resource at the moment. So can you tell me a little bit about the work that your frontline team are doing?
So our frontline team largely doing a lot of the day-to-day tasks on the audit. So a lot of the transaction testing or substantive testing and helping us do the planning in the permanent files as well.
So yeah, on the smaller audits, they are getting their teeth into the planning side of things, which is obviously then reviewed by ourselves and signed off. And then, as Vicky said, moving across into the substantive testing, moving towards the completion. So providing that back office support essentially for us on the core of the audit.
Obviously, you must have had a lot of options when you were looking at outsourcing, offshoring, and when you obviously started your firm. What made you choose offshoring rather than outsourcing?
I think we had a couple of organisations recommended to us by somebody else that we work with, and we spoke to both of them. Whole onboarding and that first initial contact was very slick, very professional. So that was a big plus. But moving that forward, it's has been a successful transition for us to using offshoring. I think because we saw and hoped that the business was going to grow the way it has, we needed those permanent placements rather than having someone dipping in for a couple of weeks on a job and then moving on to another one or another company to work with. But it gave us that continuity that if we're going to invest our time in training those people, then it's important that they pick up and learn the way that we do the audits versus another firm, and chopping and changing just didn't seem to work for us.
And trying to bring them in as part of our team. There's been really, we have weekly chats with them, and we just talk about really mundane stuff. But it's been nice bringing them in as part of the team as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What were your kind of initial expectations when obviously working with the frontline? Did you have any at all, or had you used outsourcing and offshoring in previous roles?
Yes, we have. I think both of us have to varying degrees, and I think it was what I liked about frontline is the fact that we have had the guys come in and they do feel like part of the team, but equally I think all of this has helped us realise what we need to put in order to make those guys part of our team, actually.
Yeah, I think we work very hard with them. Nathan and Alice working with them on a day-to-day basis, and then we, as Vicky said, catch up on a weekly basis with them just to talk about anything and have a bit of fun with them. But I think that day-to-day contact with Nathan and Alice is part and parcel of how we operate. And working from home is obviously, it just makes people are more comfortable on a Teams call.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're 10, 12,000 miles away is really relevant, really. It's just having those opportunities to train them and to work with them on a daily basis.
And that is, you are working with them on a daily basis, you have calls with them in the morning, and everyone's on Teams with cameras on and stuff like that, yeah?
Always cameras on, yeah. And Nathan and Alice are available as and when they get stuck on something or just need some support or to hand over that next job to them. So really regular contact.
A member of your team just working somewhere else, yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Excellent. Would you say there's been any kind of noticeable milestones or indicators of real integration into the practice, or has it just felt like kind of seamless?
It's a good question. I'm not really... Obviously, our journey was a bit different anyway because when we first started, it was just the two of us. So we've been a fairly small team. So I'm not sure if there's been anything like significant changes, but there's been things along the way that we've realised we need to do in order to make sure the guys, they're not just sat out there and we're busy, so we're not doing the training. And Nathan and I are leading that, and they've been incredibly good with that side of things as part of their roles. But yeah, I can't think of anything.
No, I can't.
Okay. Feels natural then, yeah?
Yeah.
Expansion of the team.
I think we always started on day one when we started in 2020 with a blank piece of paper, but from day one we set out with very strict controls and policies and procedures, and that side has just been rolled out to the guys in the Philippines without really having to change the way how we think or we work. They were very clear and concise from the outset, and I think so that transition's been, I think, pretty seamless.
Well, we wouldn't have a member of the team, even if they're sat here in the UK, and not talk to them or talk about workflow or training. And I think we understand how key that is to making sure that they start to feel part of the team as well.
Yeah. And has there been any kind of obstacles, any challenges that you've had to kind of overcome? Or?
No, I think obviously when they start with frontline, they go through your own induction process, and off the back of that, they probably have another day and a half, 2 days induction with us in terms of reading our policy manuals and procedures manuals, getting to know some of the software. So I'm not sure there's been any specific obstacles.
I think the only thing for me is the understanding of the ISAs and things like that, and from that aspect, just different accounting framework, but ensuring that everybody understands what the difference is on what they mean.
What benefits would you say you've experienced from having an offshore team?
I think the obvious one is it gives us that level of resource, additional level of resource, and I think the scrutiny as to when frontline take those guys on and put them forward to interview as well. So there's that element of knowledge has come with those candidates as well, which is always useful. But it gives us the opportunity to grow the team quicker, and as our business grows, then we can reach out to you guys, and hopefully you can fill some more spaces for us to provide that level of resource.
Absolutely.
To anyone else who is kind of struggling with their resource, would you recommend offshoring and working with frontline?
Yeah, absolutely, I would.
Yeah, I think, as I said, the onboarding process that's presented to us is very clear and concise and very detailed, and you do know what you're signing up to, I think.
I think it's where you do need to be prepared to put the time and effort in to making it work. It's got to be a two-way thing. You can't just take someone in and not give the time that's needed equally back. So.
Yeah, completely.
Excellent. Thank you very much.